Good evening, everyone. Please bear with us as we're having some technical difficulties. If you can hear me, please respond by saying good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Thank you. We're working out the technical difficulties with Pastor CJ now.
In the meantime, all right. So we're going to go ahead and call to order the meeting of the National Association of Gospel Radio at 6:07 p.m. The agenda would call for an opening prayer. I am going to ask um, Pastor Adrian Warren if he would please open us up in prayer. I think we may have lost him. Uh, Pastor Darren Freeman, could you open us up in prayer?
Gracious God, we thank you on tonight, allowing us to gather one more time via this wonderful technology we have. God, I ask that you would bless every person upon this call, bless those who are on their way. And then, God, we ask that you would remove the glitches so that we may have a smooth and successful meeting. Bless us now, bless our agenda, and then, God, bless the work that we are preparing to do that you've set our hand to do. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I would ask Tanya if she would call the roll. I think she may be having some technical challenges. Um, Cal Glover, could you assist her and call the roll, please?
Yes, 1 second here. Can everyone hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. All right. Charles Johnson, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Present.
Kyle Glover, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Present. Fred Harris, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Present.
Dr. Shatanda Kelly Gordon, Augusta, Georgia.
Present.
Chris Squire, Sewell, New Jersey.
I did forget.
And Drew Joyner, Chesapeake, Virginia. Let the record show that Chris Squire is not in this, neither is Drew Joyner, but we do have a quorum for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. And just want to kind of give you all a note on behalf of Jew Joyner. Jew Joyner is being honored by his community on today. So we definitely want to ask everybody to please send congratulatory remarks to Jew. If you want to just put it in the text group, and maybe we should overwhelm him right now in the text group and say congrats, Jew, and just make him feel loved by us at NAGR. But we're so thankful for the work that he's doing in Chesapeake, Virginia. Um, at this time, we will have the approval of the previous meetings, and um, it should have been emailed out to you in your board pack. You should have received those minutes. And at this time, I am going to make a motion to approve January 5th, 2023 minutes. Can I get one second?
I second that motion.
Second by Cal Glover of Pennsylvania. All of those in favor of approving the January 5th, 2023 board minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes have been approved. This time, are there any special guest awards and presentations? All right, seeing that there are none, item 5 calls for public comments. There are no public comments at this time that have been submitted. Reports, President's report. Well, first I want to say to everyone, thank you for the installation. Please excuse me, the weather is changing in Louisiana. You all know we're used to 90-degree and 100-degree weather in Louisiana, but we're experiencing 30-degree weather in Louisiana, so it's doing something to me. I want to thank everyone for their hard work for the installation. We received so many congratulatory remarks. I'm excited about all of the industry meetings that we have coming up. I don't see Bobby Parker on here, but I'm excited that we have meetings scheduled with gospel industry organizations, and we're looking forward to the meetings set up with radio industry organizations. But most importantly, we're looking forward to the work that we plan to do. And let me just say to all of you all, we have a membership call. It's going to be a private Zoom call for members. It's going to be coming up this month in February. This is going to be the opportunity for our committee chairs to show their leadership because there will be areas on that agenda where our committee chairs will get an opportunity to invite guests onto our membership call because I do believe in shared leadership. And I did want to meet with every committee chair individually. I know I've met with Bobby Parker. I know I've met with um, um, uh, Radio Robin, and I have yet to meet with so hopefully this coming week I can have a meeting with about giving them of their committee and things that they will be working on. But let me say the final thing in my report is that I emailed everyone a copy of our GAP Summit agenda. We're going to discuss that intensively today because we want to go ahead before this month end. Really, we want to do it probably by the 15th of this month. We're going to try to make that our first deadline. But we want to confirm a lot of our speakers who will participate in. Many of you saw their shared leadership in that. There are sessions where I won't be inviting speakers, but Radio Robin, Darren, Adrian, and Bobby will be inviting people that they know to participate. And we really want this to be development. But we're going to start all of our mini summits are going to happen on our membership call. Our membership call that we're going to do, in which I'm going to ask Kia Tanya if she would give us the date. What is the date to our membership call? If she had, or maybe she just want to put it in the chat. I think her internet is just, I don't know. Prayer for your internet. I want to say something, but I can't say that. So, but if Kia Tanya can put in the chat our membership meeting so that we can know when our membership is meeting is coming up that we're going to be having with everyone. But again, my biggest part of the report is thank you for our installation. Not only thank you for our installation, but secondly, to discuss extensively our GAP Summit. And that concludes my report. And we're going to ask that we vote on all the reports at one time. But that concludes my report. Anyone have any questions about my report? Okay. At this time, we will have our finance report. by our finance person, Loretta Johnson. This also should have been in your board packs as well.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Man,
Okay. The National Association of Gospel Radio. What I'm going to do is just the overview budget, the 2023 budget overview. The public events right now, the budget right now is 50,000, and the actual amount right now that we've gotten is zero. The membership is 15,000. We've actually received $1,193. Our sponsorship partnership is 80,000 for the year, and we have actual amount is zero. Grants, products, and other revenue is at a zero right now. Our total right now that we have in revenue is $1,193. Income, that was our income. Expenses, we have corporate membership, supplies and equipment, salaries and wages, events and activities, marketing, operations, savings, community sponsorship. Right now, the total for those are 124,422. We have not received any expenses for this year, for the month of January, because CJ Enterprises has paid all those expenses. So we will begin paying for expenses in the month of February.
All right. Are there any questions about the finance report? And let me just add this note. The original budget that we approved was $275,000 that we wanted to try to get in for 2023. But if you all look at that budget, because I told you when it comes to finances, I'm very conservative when it comes to finances, and I believe in reality. So as you can see, I cut the number that was approved by the board, which was 275 for a operating budget for 2023. I cut that down to what she just said, to an operating budget of $150,000. So I think that is obtainable. While we have not yet started to receive majority of our income, I think between now and June, we will receive majority of our income, and we're going to get very aggressive. I can tell you that I'm going to be calling a special board meeting in February, because in order for us to start receiving that income, the board is going to have to approve some proposals and contracts um, in order for individuals to go to aggressively work. I can tell you one of the things that I am excited about. I know companies and corporations and um, individuals who want to sponsor our organization. I'm thankful for Fred Harris and his work. His company, I can't pledge Alpha Media, but his company, Salem Media Group, has already requested to be our top sponsor in what we do. And so we have other individuals out there as well. But this is what I said to the executive committee members in uh, the meeting. I said to them, I would rather, because of the companies we work for and what the work that we do, I would rather a third party be responsible for raising funds for us, and not the board. And then also, I would be comfortable in terms of most of the work that we're asking to be done for our event planning, to be a third party that we contract as well. Because as you know, volunteers, when you're volunteering, and all of us are volunteering, but when you're volunteering, you can only give your time, but those who you're paying, you can hold accountable. And so I believe in accountability and leadership. And so we do have a team that we're going to be operating in. I can tell you, working with our event planning and also our sponsorship and partnership, we're working with Cortez Lewis Group. We're trying to get a proposal together. Also, Market Masters, we're working with them as well. And then, as you know, for our marketing, actually, our marketing is working for us right now, and that's Revision Marketing Group. So I just wanted to make that comment as it relates to the budget or the finance. Anyone else, uh, whether it be board members or even committee chairs, have questions regarding the finance?
Mr. President, I do want to make a correction concerning Salem. That was what I said that I would like to see them be
Oh,
top sponsor. Yes, sir.
my bad. My bad. My bad. Okay. Correction. Well, we hope you have 2020 vision. Okay. So let's see it go through. But we are excited about all of the people who want to be a part of what we're doing. All right. Are there any other questions or concerns regarding that? Okay.
I do have one, and it's not regarding this. I have to start another call at 6:30.
Okay.
So if you just give me a couple of minutes, let me get it started and move it on, and then I can put it on mute and come back.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. All right. So at this particular time, the agenda is calling for a report for membership services and recruitment, Robin McCullum, media relation industry affairs, Bobby Parker, radio programming, NA at this time, but I'm excited about some of the individuals we're looking at to chair the radio programming committee. I'm not sure if, well, but there's Bobby Parker. I'm not sure if Adrian would really have a report, and also if Darian would or would not have a report
I
at this
do
time.
have one. If I could, I can get it in real quick, and then I can go to this other meeting real quick. But I'll be on.
Okay, so how about we do this? Because I think Bishop is going to share Robin's report, and then Bobby Parker can talk about the things he's been working on. But Darren Freeman, you go ahead and share your report.
Thank you. Uh, to our board members and other committee chairs, it has been an exciting week. I too, like Pastor CJ, have received a lot of calls, a lot of questions, and then one in particular that I passed on to Pastor CJ, and I believe that Dr. Bobby Parker has picked up as well. There are a lot of internet stations calling. And I had been getting those calls anyway, but they kind of like tripled since last week, and so what we're attempting to do is help people get their situation right in terms of what their platform is going to be, and I'm trying my best to let folk know if you're going to start the internet, then you're going to try to come over to media base, which at this point, media base is not taking any more radio at this point because they still don't have what's going on with media base correct now. Okay, so pretty much we know that. But there are people trying to put themselves in position to be ready. And then lastly, I'm stating to the internet that it's more than just spinning the music and trying to help people on a chart. It's also about making sure that they pay the pros. The pros being, you know, Sound Exchange, BMI, ASCAP, CSAT, right? And so there is some pushback on that because a lot of people didn't realize they got to do that as well. If we're going to help artists, that type of thing, then let's do what we're supposed to do. And that is make sure that if we're going to spin the music, then let's pay the pros. So that's pretty much my scope at this point until I'm giving further direction as to how you want me to line up or how our committee to line up with NAGR. But at this point, I am taking and fielding calls and sharing with people how to get their internet in line, okay, and do it properly.
So I would say to you, I think very first and foremost, and I really want everybody to listen to Fred Harris' report when he comes for Radio Robin, because we need to get people to sign up as members. I think that is the first and foremost, is that anyone who's reaching out to us, they need to sign up as a member and get registered and paid. Um, Third piece, I would say, Darian, I think before you start sharing all of this information and resources, let us get you set up in our portal to where this information can be shared in a portal, and then also on our membership call, you will have some time allotted on the agenda to educate internet radio stations. And then also at the Gap Summit, you will be able to invite in speakers to educate internet radio stations. So again, I would say first and foremost, we need to get them as members. That I mean, we've been getting calls of people who want to be members, sponsors, or in leadership, and we're telling everybody the first thing is to become a member. Everybody that I'm looking at on the screen have registered and become a member. So it is just so important to know that before anyone can navigate, membership is very important because we want to make sure that we're sharing our resources and our tools with members. So that is something that I want to say. But thank you for that report. Fred Harris, if you want to go ahead and give the membership service and recruitment report.
All right, sure. I'll give the membership service recruitment report. And I will start out by saying, since you kind of mentioned about the importance of us building our membership as we are just getting started, one of the concepts that we um, thought that it would be good to that each board member, and even if the chairs jumped on it, would make it go even further. There's a goal. The president has a goal of wanting us to at least have 50 members by the 16th of February, and so we thought that if each one of us took on the task of committing to recruiting at least five, that we would hit the benchmark of 50 or very very close to it if each one of us took on doing that. And so, as an official ask on behalf of the recruiting membership and recruiting committee, we would like to ask each board member and also chairs to follow suit if you would be willing to do that, just in helping us in the launch as we're just getting started. There will be continuous communication that will go on as well. Um, but the initial recruitment information that from the membership and recruitment services, e-blast services is put in place and secured. Some of the things that I mentioned, we're going to also have a second meeting, because I understand, as we learned, we have some services that's already in place, so we want to make sure that we are maximizing use of what we already have and not having to um, um, have duplication. So, but e-blast services, constant contact email is configured for the organization. Uh, we have um, we have email services in place. We have also we've sent out the first newsletter, as you've already seen, um, and it was sent to some 382 contacts just as an initial send out. We know that inventory will continue to build. And I apologize that I've got my my dog is barking in the background, so hopefully you can hear me okay. That's kind of one of the reasons why I put the headset on.
It's okay.
Caleb, come get the dog. He barking. All right. Basically, we had an open rate of about 39% of those that on the initial email. So that's pretty good for the first email going out. Um, a list of ideas, a couple of ideas that membership and recruiting has is to secure, um, to make sure that we have a call and text service in place, of which we learned today that we may already have that, or probably already have that in place. And so we're looking forward to sponging that up. Doing that, especially the text service, will allow us to have easy access basically to our members and be able to communicate to them in real time and give them pertinent information when needed. Social media promotions that we'd like to utilize um, our current social media platform. We're going to utilize Facebook, Instagram to promote the NAGR, recruit stations and personnel in radio at all levels. And also, we would like to add social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter. We'd also like to create a few social media graphics. I saw a few graphics tonight in the opening. So we're going to just continue to build on the branding of NAGR, and really excited about that. Um, Reposting the various events, and so really sponging up things that you all have going on, as well as we add members, sharing and highlighting what's happening out there. We're looking forward to doing that. Another idea is having a bi-weekly newsletter, which will be distributed bi-weekly to potential and current members. This newsletter will contain information about upcoming events, news and information, also job openings, as we have those and learn of those, and other news concerning the gospel music industry. Consider having a recruitment presence at various upcoming gospel industries, and you've heard some of you have heard the president mention that our presence is very, very important. So order promotional items and designate have representation at these venues and have the site present, be able to pass out cards and the other decal, just so that we can continue to build off of our name and become, ultimately, we can be a household name in the industry. A list of venues is like the Rhythm and Gospel Awards in June of 2023. That's in Dallas. The Gospel Industry Network, that's in Virginia in July 2023. Texas Gospel Music Awards, that happens in Houston actually this month. Then the United Music and Arts Conference, that's in July. That's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Of course, the Stellar Awards, that will be in July, and I'm hearing that that might take place in Las Vegas. The Dove Awards in Nashville in October, then the Soar Awards in March of 2023, that is in Chicago. Build merchandise, the online store, which is one of the listed goals that's already in our things to do that we want to accomplish as an organization. So have apparel, mugs, maybe mouse pads, etc. And then also from the and that's from a branding perspective, branding and marketing perspective. And then membership management, developing onboarding process for members, which may include like a welcome letter, an initial NAGR personal call, designating welcome, designing a welcome package. We need to do that also. And we're already asking for t-shirt sizes. So yeah, we need to have a designed t-shirt, a logo decal, and then have a pre-printed thank you card for persons who are onboarded. Another idea is would like to create membership, frequently asked questions on the website so that we can have transparency concerning the things that we're doing, and making sure that we're having a positive impact, while at the same time being able to have that platform where persons can ask questions, and we can learn of things on the way that can help us in doing a better job. Developing a hot sheet for committee when recruiting potential members, and communicating with the current members, so that as we go and as we grow, we can provide information that can be more impactful in sharing about the NAGR. And she says, according to her records, we currently have 6 members. I think that's the report that as we shared earlier, we want to get that membership number up to 50 by the 16th of this month. And, and the plan, as we mentioned, to try to achieve that would be us working together to try to recruit at least 5 persons by the 16th of this month. That's the report, Mr. President, for membership services and recruiting.
Okay, thank you. And I think what I saw in a report, I think the number is actually 11, and I think there are 3 that are not paid. So that's probably why that number is where it is. But we do want to get it up. So we're at about 40 some people to meet our goal for. Um, while we have a lot of people who sent us email and interest saying that they're a part, they're joining. As you all know, we work in radio, especially those in the sales department. I always tell people when I started in sales, I can sell something every day. I mean, I really can. I can sell every day. It's collecting that check. That's the real getting over that hump, and that literally becomes a hump because again, we want to translate all of the individuals who are spoken members into paid members. So that's what we want to try to do, and that's always the challenge. But I think collectively together we can do it. So we need everybody's help: board members, committee chairs, um, 5 people by the 16th. If you all can help, and when we say 5 people, we're talking about not just an entire radio station, but even a radio professional. And as you see in the membership proposal today, it is even going to be open to the public. So um, I want to say to you all, we're really going to need your help to beef up our membership. Okay. So are there any questions on the report for membership services and recruitment? Any questions? Okay, at this time, we're going to ask Bobby Parker if he can kind of tell us some of the things that he's been working on. I'm excited because we got a couple of meetings set up with some folks that he's been talking to. And so, uh, Bobby Parker, you want to take it away?
Yes, sir. Pastor CJ and everyone. It's good to see everybody. And I went in and started contacting folks that want to meet with us and those that we have interest in meeting with. And I did talk to Bishop Kenneth Wells he's the president of the GIN, which they are uh, starting their event in Los Angeles this week. Matter of fact, today I spoke with him on yesterday. He is available to meet with us next week. So we just have to schedule that when it's good for him and you, Pastor. And he's ready to be for us to join forces and be able to talk and see how we can continue to go forward in this gospel music industry that we're a part of. Also, Bishop Arvetra Jones Jr. from the North Carolina Gospel Announcers Guild, which I'm a part of, he's agreed to meet with us as well, with you, Pastor. And I am working on others. Bishop Albert Jameson from the GMWA. They're getting ready for their board meeting and their summer convention, which will be taking place here in North Carolina in Greensboro. Deacon Dennis Cole, who's from the Stellar Awards, I talked with him today, and he's ready to meet with us. We just got to schedule a time that we
And
will be
I
able to meet
wanted to
with him.
interrupt you there.
And
I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me?
Mm-mm.
yes,
Can you hear me? Okay, I wanted to hear you there. And I want to let everybody know Don Jackson actually called us today. And he offered a congratulatory and privately outside of this board meeting. I want to share with everyone what the Stellars plan to do for us. So we'll talk about that offline.
and that's it. The other folks I got in contact with was Dove Awards. Ebony Funderburk usually gathers media people for the Dove Awards, which takes place in Nashville, and we're going to try to schedule a meeting with her as well and let her know what we're all about as well. and I'll be working on others coming up next week. And that's it.
Excellent work, Bobby. I think we're doing good on the gospel music industry side. I know he is working on radio industry side. I think we're supposed to be connecting with RAB real soon. We're connecting with Media Base, Billboard. Also, we're connecting with the Christian music broadcasters. So I know that Bobby, you're doing a phenomenal job at connecting us with individuals in the radio and gospel music industry. We know a lot of these people are going to participate in what we plan to do in June, which we got to make sure that is good. But again, Bobby, great work, sir. Great work. And same thing to Robin. We would have a radio sales report at this time, but I know me and Adrian haven't really had the chance to meet. But Adrian, is there anything you want to share? Are you good? I don't know if it's coming off mute or there he is. He's off mute.
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Thank you. We do know, and let me just say this publicly. Adrian,
I will comment if you don't mind, Mr. President. I want to just say kudos to Mr. Adrian Warren, who represented well at the St. Jude celebration of hope. He embraced the stage, and I was proud to see such presentation and to know that he is a part of this NAGR. So great work and great representation.
huh, well, Adrian is a very smart man, and like I said, I listened to him on that Clubhouse some time ago and realized that very smart. So I look forward to seeing him. But let me say to all of you all, I think the committee he's leading is going to be very important because a lot of members who do join, bottom line is sales. I mean, that's their bottom line. And so we're looking forward. I've had radio stations ask me, will we have templates of how to create a package and how a package should be properly put together to be able to present to clients. We all have relationships. I have a relationship with someone at, Coca-Cola and AT&T, and we want, when we're talking about our Gap Summit, we want these type people to be our speakers. The vice president or the president of these companies, because we want to know what we need to do as radio stations to attract more of their business on gospel stations, inspirational stations, not just national advertisers, but even regional and local direct. We even want to talk to some local direct individuals because we want to know what can we do. How does a local advertiser think? How does a regional advertiser think? How does a national advertiser think? So even when putting that together, and that's going to be 100% Adrian's leadership, but I'm going to share my contacts that I have, but that's going to be 100% of him bringing that information to the table to help us, even in our membership meetings and of course at our Gap Summit. So there's no special reports. So I'm going to ask that a motion is made to approve all reports, and someone seconded. So someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that all reports will be approved by the board.
Motion by Cal Glover, Pennsylvania, to approve all reports. Is it going to be seconded by anyone?
I second it.
Seconded by Dr. Gordon of Augusta. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the reports are approved. All right, so the two action items, Gap Summit. So you got this in your board packet. And we have about 15 minutes because I want to keep this meeting within an hour. In the Gap packet, you will see, and I know really the reason why I want some input because when we were inviting our committee chairs to take over the committees, because a lot of this summit is going to be what seeing the committee chairs leadership. We want to make sure that this summit, Adrian said something to us, he asked that question to make sure we ain't just coming to have church, and I want to make sure we're creating an agenda that really help develop individuals, but also there's something for the public, our listeners, and there's something for advertisers, people to network, and those different things. So I just want to kind of go through this agenda, read it to you as a whole, and then as I've read it to you as a whole, allow you all to get in there and really just um, offer any type of edits to the agenda now, and Kitanya make those edits. But also at the same time, once this call in, I'm going to disseminate everybody to start thinking about who they want to invite to this. Now, you would get with your vice presidents. So for sales and programming, that's Cal. For streaming, no, sales, programming, and streaming, Darren Freeman, that's Cal. And for media relations and membership, that's Fred. So they're going to tell you what we're allocating for different speakers in terms of a budget, and how we're going to kind of keep it within our expenses so that we don't overwhelm ourselves in our first year. Okay. So I'm not going to read the first paragraph, but I am going to read the agenda. So the actual summit actually starts on Thursday, but we always want to have a pre-day. We come in on Wednesday, June 7th. Allow people to do on-site registration, check in, exhibit hall open. Also, we plan to have an in-person board meeting on that Wednesday. So our June meeting, can tell you we need to kind of edit our June calendar to move our meeting to June 7th for an in-person meeting. And by the way, for that in-person meeting, I'm going to buy everyone a pastry. So everyone will get a pastry on me. No one seemed excited about that. All right. So
You said steak last time. He said steak last time, didn't he? Cow.
We're gonna have that, and then from 7:30 to 9, an industry mixer. So here's shared leadership right here, because that industry mixer is going to be led by Bobby Parker. So we want everyone who's in that room invited to be in that room with radio, whether they're advertisers, artists, listeners, radio professionals, no matter who they are. We want that to be an industry mixer, and we're going to see the incredible leadership of Bobby Parker pulling that room together. Um, then Thursday, we start. I always thought we had an early morning Devo. I just feel that, and that's devotional, just getting together because we're gospel, we're inspirational. And so we want to start each day uplifting, to be uplifted. And so for about 30 minutes, just something that we come together and just kind of have a quick empowerment with ourselves and a board member. So I will choose a board member for each morning Devo that they will lead and develop and plan themselves. I know Drew Joyner will be an excellent choice. I know Dr. Gordon will be an excellent choice. All of the board members will be an excellent choice to lead these efforts and, just kind of make it their own thing. Then 8 o'clock, check-in registration. 9 o'clock, general session speakers. So I'm going to tell you, these general session speakers are going to be geared to radio. Okay, so it may be a radio executive, it may be an advertiser. It's going to be between advertisers and radio executives. This is where most of our general session speakers are going to be. So it may be the president of Salem. It may be the president of Alpha or iHeart or whomever that we plan to invite to this to kind of
Sure
be
as I
able
can all know it.
to discuss. And then
Get ready to
also
go. When I get through this, I'm gonna go to the store.
10
I don't
to
need to anymore.
11:50,
Huh?
we'll
I
have
don't need to
breakout
anymore.
sessions.
Huh?
I don't
So
need to anymore.
breakout sessions.
I need
I would,
to.
if those
What?
of you can, if you just mute your
I
mics,
don't need to.
mute your mic, Fred. If you would mute your mic, I think it's your mic.
My mic? I'm not, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. No, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can
You
hear
can?
everything going on in the background. We can hear everything that's going on in the
Oh Lord, that's
background.
interesting. I'm glad you told me that. Thank you.
And by the way, Fred, I just want to say we are going to establish a membership for dogs. Okay, so dogs will be able to join the NAGR. But anyway, our breakout sessions from 10 to 11:50. So we will have leadership and management, which Fred Harris is going to lead that session. So Fred will be inviting the speaker for that particular breakout session. music programming, on air and online content. So that's going to work between Darian Freeman and whoever our radio programming chair is. They'll work together to have at least two speakers in that area, one speaking to actual terrestrial radio and another actual speaking to internet radio, and then sales. So that is going to definitely be Adrian. We're going to be asking him to invite a speaker to help, speak to that. But also, Adrian will facilitate this a class. Darren will facilitate this class, but also inviting a guest speaker to speak there. Then a networking luncheon. We're going to try to have it to where we allow vendors to come into the space and it may be the hotel where we plan to host it, where they may provide lunch and people can buy lunch there, but we want to kind of keep people together, so we give them that opportunity to network. And then at 7 p.m., the president's dinner and awards. So here is where we want to find individuals in the radio and gospel music industry that we want to give awards to. And it'll also be the time that I will share with the entire association. And of course, we'll have a guest artist there for that. That's day one. Day two, same thing, morning Devo, general session, same thing. Breakout sessions again. So we get back to leadership and management where Fred will, have a speaker there and he'll kind of bring someone in and work with that session. Programming will be independent in that session. So it will just be terrestrial radio in that session. And then we get back to sales where it'll be Adrian and Darren kind of pulling together to talk about terrestrial sales, internet sales, in that part, and inviting in speakers for that. Another networking. And then also, I forgot to mention this in the day prior, from 1:30 to 4, you'll see this on the second day. It's a wrap-up panel, which is going to be led by Robin, because what we want to do is we want to bring the members together, bring people together to attend, and have a wrap-up discussion to make sure that they've got some out of this, that they have received the information where they can go back and do that. And so I think the wrap-up session, it may need to feature all of our committee chairs versus guest members. I think all of our committee chairs should be the featured speakers in the wrap-up session, to kind of do that along with Fred, since he's a part of a breakout session as well. Saturday, which is and also on that Friday, open to the public, a concert, which Cal, as first vice president, is going to be putting together the concert that we will have on that day, open to the public, and doing that. Last day, so a morning Devo, but here it is, the worship gathering, and this is the only time, I promise, Adrian, the only time we will have church. But this is the worship setting, because this is what I don't want us to forget, okay? Gospel radio, inspirational radio, whatever we want to call it, we are connected to the church, okay? I don't think that we can forget that, ignore that. I know for my station, churches still account for about 25 to 30% of our revenue. So, we want to make sure we remain connected to that in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. And I can tell you all, I've privately been in conversations, because we'll be in New Orleans, and so I've asked Bishop Paul Morton to preach that, and I've asked him to close us out, and I've asked a lot of the pastors in the city of New Orleans to be there to support that. And so that's the gist of our schedule. And also, we do plan to have, I think we need to do a little bit more work on the registration side. We will ask people to register. I think the regular registration should be $150, and for members it should be $75. We should put that in half to where members can get a discount on the registration. But we do need a registration fee, because again, there are expenses that will have to be taken care of for that. Okay, so I want to open this up. I'm asking everyone to comment on the thought of this framework of the summit, and the thought of what do you feel need to be added, changed, or we may need to think in a different direction. Because after this meeting, I am going to ask Darian, Dr. Gordon. In fact, I want to go ahead and assign these morning devos for Thursday. Dr. Gordon to be over the morning devo for Thursday. So whoever she wants to invite to lead that, or if she want to lead it herself. And then Friday, I want to assign that to Jew Joyner. And on Saturday, I actually want to assign that to Chris Squire. Chris Squire on Saturday. Okay, so but again, um, 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 thoughts, opinions. But and if y'all see how this is shared leadership, but I want to hear from everybody. So we'll start with. I want to start with Adrian first. I just for some odd reason I want to start with Adrian first.
I guess my question is on the sessions, are they concurrent sessions or are they right after each other?
The concurrent. So these will be concurrent sessions. They will all be happening simultaneously.
Good. I don't have any other concerns or questions.
Okay, and I'm just gonna ask everybody. I'm gonna be asking y'all because I want to play devil's advocate a little bit, and I want y'all to critique this the best y'all can. So, Adrian, you do feel the overall concept of this summit and agenda fits our mission and what we're trying to do.
I do. I think that we're providing some type of structure for the people who are in this specific part of the radio industry. I think the only thing that I would want to do is when you talk about bringing in session leaders and speakers, I would want to make sure that we do some type of prior survey to the people who are already members to
Mm-hmm.
make sure, especially since this is the first one, to make sure that we're on track a little bit with programming. Because, for instance, in my area, there's a lot that I can talk about in sales. There's a lot that, to your point, the way you go after a national buyer versus the way you go after a local sales, totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we definitely have to talk about different people's capacities. Like, do people subscribe to Nielsen? Do people
Yeah,
get ratings? Do
yeah,
what type of tools do people have? Are there salespeople who have Magellan, Zoom info? How are they prospecting? In my mind, I
yeah.
already thought about classes on that, but
Mm-hmm.
organically doing it in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about bringing in outside people to know that they're facilitating a need before we get that ourselves, then I think it's important to, if we're going to make that investment in an outside speaker, that we know that outside speaker is on point and not just someone that we feel are needed.
Yeah,
But I think that's something that, since we're just in the early stages of kind of doing the structure, we can eventually get to. But those
yeah.
are other thoughts that I think about right now.
And let me say this, I think I should have put this out there as well. Committee chairs, you will have the autonomy to decide whether you want to invite an outside session leader or speaker, or you would want to facilitate and teach that yourself. So you will have that, to come up with what the subject matter is going to be. So, because I know there's all kind of areas you can talk about in programming, all kind of areas you can talk about in sales. So, um, um, when I'm referencing shared leadership, I don't want to create the specific topics. Create the specifically what we're talking about. So that'll be totally left up to Adrian, and when it comes to the sales part. But then there's a day where Adrian and Darren is working together. So you all may have to have a meeting and decide what that topic is going to be. Do you feel for that topic you need to bring someone from the outside in to give exact, or if you want to facilitate and teach? I think a part of every session should be some type of advertiser. I just think that an advertiser should be in a session because I want to hear from the professional who sells it, and I also want to hear from the person who buys it. So I think that for me, if I was a radio station, I was coming, I would want to hear both of those perspectives. So I wanted to put that out there as well. So committee chairs and vice presidents, please know, and Devo leaders, please know that you have the autonomy to decide what you want to do in that time allotted to you. All right. Dr. Gordon, I want to come to you next. Any questions or thoughts there?
Um, I was wanting to ask the question, what are we going to be doing differently as relates to our subject matter opposed to what the other agencies are doing? What will our criteria be more detailed towards?
Okay, help me understand your question. I want to make sure I answer that correctly.
Some of the some of the topic matters that we'll have during the conference. What are some things are we going to tackle that the other trade organizations are not dealing with that's going to be beneficial to the artist, beneficial to the programmer, more beneficial?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me say that that particular part goes kind of back to the committee chairs. So the committee chairs are going to have to research their topics to figure out what need to actually be discussed at this summit. So I can't specifically. So what I've given on this um, layout is a general framework as to what should be discussed, or what should be the focus of the discussion. Now, what that exact discussion is, to be honest with you, I would know it would be that committee chair. But to give you an example, because you said program. So if I was a committee chair and it was something that was going to help artists, or if it was something that's going to help radio stations, so I would talk about, let's just say this: we've all worked in programming, so we know one thing that we get is a dozen of CDs in the mail. You know, we get a dozen of CDs in the mail. So there are artists that are out there who are still investing money in mailing CDs. And artists may want to know that, hey, I'm mailing in this CD, and are y'all getting it? Are y'all listening to it? Why is it not playing on your station? Why is it not this? And so there may be a topic that the chair of the radio program are talking about: music submission, and how music submission may have changed for stations or their station. Because I know in Shreveport, and I can only speak for Shreveport, but I know in Shreveport, anything that's mailed to me, I'm probably 9 times out of 10 not getting it. But if it's submitted to me via email, I'm probably getting it. I'm probably getting it. And so there are a lot of quartet artists that I just want to, I don't know why I segregated somebody, but there are a lot of quartet artists who call our station religiously saying that I put in the mail my CD, and they feel that that money that they've invested in mailing their CD in, that, they're not getting the results of that. So that music submission could be a topic that could be beneficial to artists to tell how you submit your music to a radio station. So that's just me giving an idea, Dr. Gordon, but that's not me saying that's what it will be. But I do understand what you're saying in terms of how will our conversation differ from when they go get information from other organizations within both industries. So I do get what you're saying there, if that makes any sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Darren Freeman.
Okay, let me just drop this one real. You mentioned something earlier about the Stellas and Don Johnson, and I actually forgot to tell y'all this. So Dennis and I had a conversation. He called me, and of course he was looking for who are these people that are on the internet, because the Stellars, or the radio part of Stellars, is trying to do something that they would finally recognize internet. And so I'm mentioning it, but it came to me word of mouth. Am I trusting it? Yes and no. Okay, and everybody on here know where I'm going with that. But,
well, the beautiful thing is now that you will have an association behind you to write a joint letter to push something like that to happen, because we want to. I mean, what you do is important. I mean, and it needs to be recognized.
Yeah. Now, so let me address this. Whatever is said and done and what's been voted on, I'm all for it. But let me just throw something out. You got full gospel. You're gonna have National Baptist Convention, USA. You're gonna have National Baptist Convention of America. You're gonna have Primitive Baptists. You're gonna have GMWA. You're gonna have the other organization, Thomas Dorsey. And then you're in the midst of vacations. So I'm looking at, we are just under 6 months away from the proposed date that we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my hand is raised. Whatever we're going to do, I'm for you. However, I'm just throwing this out that the gospel community and the church community, people who go to these conventions and that type of thing, that's a crowded calendar, you know, during the summer. So I'm just raising that because when I take a look at the other part of the year, it's not that crowded. So now people are going to have to make a choice as to where am I going and where am I spending my dollars. Okay. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I'm one that traveled to just about all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I tell you, we've had this conversation maybe 1,000 times.
Okay.
I can tell you the board has met with this last year. We talked about dates. We went, Dr. Gordon, Fred, and Cal can tell you. We talked about 100 dates. We talked about when to do it. In fact, this is our probably third or fourth time changing it to this date and to this time. This is where I am with where we are. We must start somewhere. You know, if we start somewhere, I'm going to tell you this. I will be satisfied. And one of the reasons why we said we're coming to the state of Louisiana is because of the home court advantage that I will have in New Orleans. But I can tell you, we're going to start somewhere. You know, I would be satisfied. You know, I'm not expecting thousands of people to attend this summit, but I am expecting us to have a decent crowd that gets us started. But again, we have to start somewhere, and I know this is like our third or fourth time starting here, and we did talk about. I think we talked about September, October. We were there. We had conversation that just went on meeting after meeting. So we are here, and we're going to push it the best we can, and we're going to need all leaders to help us push it the best we can. And we're going to try our hardest to make it very, very, very successful. All right. Cal Glover.
Sorry, remind me the question again. I stepped away for a second.
We're going over the summit agenda and just basically any thoughts to improve it, change it, making sure it's right. The agenda for that.
I think we're good. I think it's going to be just dependent upon the space where we're going to hold everything at to do these breakout sessions. One thing I will say that by experience, when I went to our counterparts summit last year, one thing they did was after like the morning word much they did a panel, um, did a panel, then they broke for lunch, and then after that they did a second panel, or they did a breakout session.
Gotcha.
And sometimes they did both, where they did the second panel for a few minutes, did a breakout session, then we all came back together, and then they exit out. Um, you
Do
know,
you, that's a good point. Do you all feel, and this is another to Adrian, Darren, Bobby, do y'all feel we need to do breakout sessions? Because I know I said it will happen simultaneously at the same time. Or do you all feel that we just need to keep everyone in a session and just do it at different, do it back to back behind each other?
Personally, I think we ought to watch and see what the registration looks like and what the crowd's going to look like. But if it's tending to be under a certain number, I would think keep everybody in one room and rotate the leaders out. Give everybody 30, 45 minutes or that type of thing.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. That's good. Anyone else? Any thoughts there?
In that same vein, if you was um, the various sessions listed and we were able to tap into persons' interests, that would also help from a layout perspective. I know when we went to the one of the things that when when you have an individual that is interested in multiple sessions, then maybe that might be something that you look at to see um, if sessions kind of parallel with one another in terms of individuals, to where those can be planned apart from one another rather than happening uh, at the same time.
That's good. Okay. All right.
All right, I will say one of the biggest complaints that I got when I was running the Inspiration Music Conference for my former employer in Philly. We did it at the convention center, so it was a big conference. They One of the biggest complaints we got from attendees was they had multiple interests for the breakout sessions that were
Right.
all happening at the same time. So even though we did our best to kind of separate interests, but we noticed that people still shared common interests between breakout sessions. So if we want to do that to kind of spread the room out, maybe what we can do is if we do breakout sessions to run the same ones back to back. So like for example, um, one is digital, could be like the panel for digital, and then a breakout session for programming. And then right after that, do a second breakout session to where it's literally the same panels and allow those people to switch if they want to, or some people might want to stay in the same room to get even further information. But at least that gives the opportunity to kind of be able to hit everywhere at once without having the pressure of having to choose.
I like that. I like that. So it's like keep a session within. Do you feel that 50 minutes is enough time for a session?
It won't be, but however, it's always great for a teaser for a follow up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, Fred Harris, your thoughts on the agenda?
Good with it. I think that, like you said earlier, you got to start somewhere. It's You have to start somewhere, and we'll continue to mold it and make decisions and adjustments for the betterment as we go forward. And I think on Dr. Gordon's question, I think she was asking, if I was hearing her right, about what's different about us than some of the other platforms in terms of what we're providing. I think that our focus is more on radio, which is going to, and I think also, Mr. Freeman, I think that that may be a different type of attraction, just, because I know a lot of the other platforms deal with a lot of artistry, deal with a lot of a fan base and all of that. Whereas I think that um, we should be more attractive to the business side, where as far as radio, and and then we get as far as and deep as into the engineers and and all of that. So it's going to be interesting, the impact that that we could potentially have on the industry in a different type of way than the face value.
Well, I can tell you this. Another thing that's really going to contribute to our um, registration numbers is us getting members now. I think the more we really hold on, if every leader, board members, committee chairs, if every leader really put time into trying to get 5 members, we are really building up our sessions. I mean, we're building up our sessions because let's just say for our concert, for our awards dinner that's open to the public, we may have 500 people or even 1,000 people from the city of New Orleans who come to something like that because it's open to the public. But our sessions may only comprised of 75 to 100 people. 75 to 100 people, because again, we want the session to be more so dedicated to those individuals who register because they want to take advantage of industry information for radio. You know, so um, that's why our membership is going to be very, very, very important. Okay, I think Bobby Parker was there, but I think he's not there. So that's that. I do want to um, I do want to call a special meeting where we come back and vote for this agenda. We've heard all of the changes. So we're going to, I know Kia Tanya has taken minutes, so we're going to come back with some revisions from what we've heard. And then, Adrian, I would love to get on your schedule next week, early part of next week, to kind of talk to you there to get that there. And I would love to get on your schedule as well, early next week, to kind of talk some things regarding that as well. All right. The last thing that we have that we're actually going to vote on is membership. So this was in your board packet, and it was radio station membership at $300, radio professionals membership at $200, but also non-radio membership at $100. And let me just say what this non-radio membership is. So I want to kind of explain this. A radio station membership is for the station itself. All personnel in the station becomes a member. Okay. Plus, they get a whole lot of benefits. The radio professional membership is for an individual that's in the station, but the station is not joining collectively, but they just want to join as an individual. Obviously, we do got discounts for this year, so obviously they're taking advantage of those rates at a discounted level. Okay, but non-radio membership. This membership grants permission to the general public and professionals in other industries. So their benefits are broken down smaller as to what a regular station membership or a radio professional membership would be, which is voting rights, event discounts, exclusive network opportunities at events, conferences, and meetings, newsletter and updates, special member benefits, NAGR discount, store discount, and use of the NAGR logo. So this is for if the president of AT&T wants to join, if that listener who loved listening to Fred Harris in the morning wants to join because Fred Harris is their favorite radio announcer and they just want to support and they want to join and be a part. This is for that local direct advertiser who may want to join, that gospel artist who may want to join, that record label who may want to join, that just anyone. It's open to the general public. So I wanted to kind of open to see, is there any discussion on adding this level to our membership? All right. Hearing none, I think we ought to call it to a vote. And Kitanya, I'm going to ask for this particular item to be a roll call vote.
Charles Johnson, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes.
Kyle Glover, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Fred Harris, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yes.
Dr. Gordon, Augusta, Georgia.
Yes.
All right. So it passes, and we're going to add this membership level to our membership. And again, so now when we say go get 5 members, it makes it even easier to go and get 5 members. So it can be your listeners, it can be your advertise, it can be people you know, but we want to really try to focus on radio professionals because we know that's who our breakout session is going to benefit. So try to reach out to other radio professionals, right? Well, that is all that I have on the agenda. Bobby Parker, did you have anything to say about the summit agenda? I don't know if he's still there. I see his name.
I like how everything was going. Keeping everyone in one room I think will be great. And then just excited. Also, we said we have to start somewhere. I might want to try to reach out to someone with the Essence Fest since we're starting in New Orleans. Maybe we could do something during that time around Essence Fest and around those dates as well. Everybody will be there, so that's something that we can look at as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a good idea. Going forward, we may need to make that connection. And that may be a good idea. That may be a good idea. Thank you for that. All right. Is there any new or other business? I see food on Cal's face. So is there any new or other business? All right. Hearing none, I think the takeaway from this meeting that I would say in the closing we need everybody to start aggressively today. If everybody can make a commitment first, put in our group text, congratulations, Drew Joyner. Let's overwhelm him with love. Don't forget to do that. And then second, um, everyone, please just reach out to 5 radio professionals and try to get them to join and stay aggressively on top of it. Because we can do this together. If Dr. Gordon go get 5, Adrian go get 5, Darren go get 5, Cal go get 5, I get 5, Fred get 5, Bob get 5. That's 30 members right there. That's 30 members right there. So please, let's do this. And I believe you all can defend our organization. I mean, y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we're trying to do. You all have joined yourself. I said to someone in a defense, they told me that their organization promotes, they put gospel artists to the forefront. And I said, that's good. That's good. But in NAGR, we put radio to the forefront. And I was done. I was done after that. And so that was the defense. And they agreed. We're 2 different things. So,
Dr. Gordon has recruited somebody.
Yes, we have a new member. Who is that, Dr. Gordon? We have a new member.
This is my oldest granddaughter, Namaya. She made her first debut in the movies several days ago. She shot her first movie in Atlanta, her and her sister.
All right. Congratulations. Awesome.
Congratulations to you.
We're headed to Maryland on February 13th for a premiere. So it'll be their first premiere with them Gibsons.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Also, I want to make this announcement. Sending, I don't know if he wanted me to make this now, but State Rep Lewis Williams Bishop, who is a Philly legendary gospel radio personality, turns 91 in June and celebrating 60 years in radio. Tanya, I am going to ask if we can write a resolution on behalf of NAGR and mail it to them. Cal, if you can get us some information, we would like a joint resolution sent to him, congratulating him on
her
first 91 years
of
life in June. That's the biggest thing. And 60 years of radio.
Yes,
so,
her.
Oh, my bad. Her.
Lois. Louise.
Okay.
Louise Williams Bishop. The legendary Louise Williams Bishop out of Philadelphia.
Yes. Gotcha. All right. God bless y'all. I was 22 minutes over. So I'm going to upgrade the pastry to a pancake. God bless you. Good night.